Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Path to Glory series with Tottenham Hotspur. I'm FM, and today we take on Liverpool in the FA Community Shield, obviously the league winners against the FA Cup winners. But first, I want to show you all the transfers since you were last here, because there have been quite a few. And first, I'm going to show you the outgoings. So I hope you don't mind the picture of Boris Johnson currently covering all the transfers in. I just don't want to show them to you yet. It was quite a frustrating transfer window at times. It was very, very hard to sell a lot of the players that I wanted to. Spurs had a lot of deadwood, which obviously inflated the wage bill so much that we had to get them off the bill, because there was no way I was actually going to play them, and there's no way any of them really justified the wages. And on top of that, we also had players like Romero and Perisic who obviously were just never going to play for this club again, given how they behaved / played in season 1. But first, I'm going to show you some of the players I sold for actual money. First was Joe Rodon, sold to Lyon for £20 million. He's okay, but it's not really Premier League quality, and getting 20 million for him was just an amazing deal, because initially he was valued at like 7.5 million, but we somehow managed to get 20. Lyon were willing to pay, so I'm glad he's gone. I do respect the guy, but he was never going to play for me, so see ya, Joe. Next, I sold Sergio Reguilon. My initial plan was to keep him, but there's a situation with Ben Davies that I need to show you in a second. But yeah, he's been sold to Sporting in Portugal for £8.5 million. I think it was 8.25, right? So yeah, I mean, he's not bad. He's quite a well-rounded left back, but once again, the wages, he was on 50 grand a week, didn't really justify that, so I needed him gone. So goodbye, Sergio. As I mentioned last episode, Tonki Ndombele has been sold. He was on 120 grand a week, definitely not worth that. So I sold him for 7.5 million to Real Betis in Spain. Bye-bye, Tongi. You were, overpaid, and we bought you for too much money. Yeah, it's a major loss, but there was no way in hell I was going to get 50 million for this guy. So, sorry, Tongi, but your time at Spurs is done. Obviously, I signed a new goalkeeper, so Fraser Forster was relegated to third choice. I would have kept him, but he was on 70 grand a week, and he doesn't justify that at all, so I needed to sell. Obviously, a lot of this window was about getting rid of players who are paid way too much, and Fraser Forster was one of those. Harry Winks also left, yes, a great servant for Spurs. He was obviously an academy product of theirs, but he was on 90 grand a week, and he's just not a very good player, is he? I've had him in previous saves on this game. He never performed well at all. He needed to leave. He was on 90 grand a week, so I sold him to Fiorentina in Italy. And that was it. Those are the only players that I sold for actual money. Let's talk about the loans now. A lot of them were loans to hopefully sell in the future, and others were development loans. So first, Christian Romero left to Juventus on loan for the season. This isn't a loan to buy. I tried so hard to sell him, but no clubs really wanted him, and Spurs signed him for £44 million. And if I sold him for 20, then as his value says, then that would have been a major loss. So I'm under the impression that if we loan him away this season, he plays regularly for Juventus, his value will shoot up, and next season we can sell him for a lot more, because I have no intention of playing this guy again. He is absolutely awful. So he's been loaned to Juventus. They're paying all his wages and are giving us a monthly fee, so that'll give us at least some money back for Romero, and it takes his absolutely gigantic wages off the wage bill. So I'm very happy with this. Perisic also left, and it was only a loan as well. His contract is expiring at the end of the season, so we will never see this guy again. I did really try to sell him. I even offered him out for absolutely nothing, and no clubs wanted him. It was so hard to sell certain players this summer. But he's gone to Lyon for the season. They're paying 125 grand a week of his wages. So we still pay some of his wages, but this was the best I could do. It was so hard to get rid of this guy, and he was on 180 grand a week, which is just ridiculous for someone of his ability. And if he's going to be a crybaby, I don't care how old you are, how experienced you are, how good you are, you're not playing for me. Also loaned up Giovanni Lo Celso. This is a loan to buy. I mean, he's not bad, but he's overpaid on 100 grand a week, so I wanted to get rid of him. He's gone to Roma this season. If he plays 20 matches for them, they sign him for £23 million, potentially rising to 30. Now, if he doesn't play 20 games, he just returns to me, but that's okay, because he has another year left on his contract. So if he returns to us, we can just sell him next summer. Roma are paying 70% of his wages, so that'll do for me. That's fine. Bryan Gil he's kind of a mixed bag. I didn't loan him out to sell him, but also I loaned him out primarily to get his 80k a week off the wage bill. He doesn't deserve that at all, and he's not really first in quality. I'm hoping that he'll develop out on loan at Celta Vigo in Spain, and hopefully when he returns he'll be more of a first team squad player, but right now he doesn't deserve to be paid 80 grand a week. Celta Vigo are paying all of that, so that's more wage off the wage bill. I'm very happy with that. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of our income in terms of transfers was from loan fees. This was the only way I could get rid of players, really. A lot of the other players were development loans. You got Alfie Devine on loan to League One in Bristol City, who did get relegated. Jamie Donnelly and Troy Parrott, both to Fenerbahce. I also loaned out Jed Spence to Norwich in the Championship. He's never going to be good enough, and not many clubs are interested in actually signing him outright. So I've loaned him to Norwich. They're going to pay his wages. Hopefully this will cause his value to increase because he's playing football, and we can sell him next summer. So anyway, those were the outs. I did my best to sell as many players as possible. We made 52 million in total. It was very difficult to sell, but tell me what you think of those outs in the comments. Now I can remove the picture of Boris Johnson, and now we can finally see the transfers in. So I'm going to start with the meme signing of the window. James Milner has joined Tottenham Hotspur from Liverpool. He was released from Liverpool actually, so he's signing for free. He's not going to be a starter obviously, but I just feel like we needed that person with lots of experience. He's played in the Premier League for many years. He's a great leader, and he can basically play anywhere as well. So if we have an injury crisis in any position, he can fill in very well for us. So I'm quite pleased with the signing. It's definitely value for money. Definitely a player who can slot in anywhere in the team if need be, and so he's definitely worth keeping around as a backup. And also he provides a lot of leadership. He can be one of the leaders of this team, maybe mentor some of the younger players as well. Next, I'm going to confirm that Dejan Kulusevski did indeed join the club for 30 million. This didn't actually come out of our transfer budget good enough for us, so we can still sign some more players, but I'm glad we signed him. Even if this wasn't hard-coded into the game for him to join, I would have signed him anyway because he's been very, very good for me. I've really enjoyed using him, and you can see he's a 4-star ability player on our team, so he's definitely going to be a key player once again for us this season, and he can play anywhere in that attacking third as well, so a very useful player to have. Now, the first big signing of the window, Diogo Costa has joined us from Porto for his release clause. I think it was about £41.5 million. You can see from his average rating last season, he was very, very good for the Portuguese outfit. And as I said right from episode 1, we did need a new goalkeeper to replace the ageing Reece, and I think Diogo Costa is definitely the player for that. He's only 23, he's got some room to grow as well. So I'm very, very pleased with this. This is probably the best young goalkeeper in the world right now. This guy in real life looking for a move to a big club, and it's great to take him off Porto because Porto are, well, that team about the bottle job, if you remember. So I'm glad he's left them to weaken them and strengthen us. So welcome Diogo Costa. He's on 120 grand a week, but that's okay. He's our first choice keeper. He definitely justifies the wages. So welcome Diogo. Next, we signed Mohamed Salisu from fellow Premier League outfit Southampton for 35 million, potentially rising to 39. Yeah, he's a very decent player, definitely of first-team quality for us. Obviously, with Romero leaving, I needed to sign a new starting centre-back, and he definitely fits that bill. Let's compare him to Romero quickly if we can. Yeah, I prefer Salisu. He's just a little bit better than Romero, and hopefully a player who can actually perform on the pitch, thank you very much. Hopefully he doesn't get red carded against fucking Brighton despite being 4-1 out. I'm looking at you, Romero, you shit idiot. And we're paying him almost 100 grand a week less. So he's a great signing for us. I think the key thing with these transfers is that we've got value for money because we didn't have that big of a transfer budget really, and I wanted to get value for money because we needed to fill a lot of spots in the squad, a lot of weak points, and just spending the entire budget on just one player wasn't going to cut it. We also signed Nicolas Gonzalez to play backup to Asensio this year. Obviously with Brian Hill leaving, I needed more quality and depth in the wide areas, and this guy's a very decent player. I signed him for very cheap, only £25 million from Fiorentina, and I've seen him in a few other people's saves last year and this year, and he's a very, very solid player. He's very, very fast, got great dribbling, first touch and flair, so he's definitely going to be that creative force on the right hand side to play backup to Marco Asensio, because Marco Asensio is a bit injury prone. He did get injured a few times last season, and this guy definitely a solid backup with 90 grand a week, maybe a bit high, but I think he's going to justify every single penny. I really rate this guy. He's a great player. And the final signing of the window was Nuno Mendes from PSG. This is a loan to buy. Obviously, I did run out of transfer budget when I signed Nicolas Gonzalez. So this is a loan to buy. We're loaning him for the season, then we're going to be paying 30 million at the end of the season. Much similar to the Kulusevski deal. I think he's a good player. There wasn't many good left back options. I could have signed Ferland Mendy from Real Madrid, but his wages were quite high and they were demanding an outlandish fee for him. And this guy's only 21, he's got a lot of room to grow. He's sort of on a similar level of ability to Ben Davis right now, but he definitely has the potential to become a quality left back, and I've never really used him before in FM, so I wanted to give him a go. So welcome Nuno Mendes. Hopefully your time at Spurs will be very positive. It's quite a hefty loan fee, I can't lie, but it is what it is. We have to pay the money if we want to sign the players, and this was kind of the only option I had, really. I'm also on the topic of left backs. I promised Ben Davies that I'd sell him. So basically, what happened was he wanted to leave because he wanted a new challenge at the end of last season. So I said, "I'll give it to the end of the season, and I'll sell it." Because this was a bit before the FA Cup, and basically that made it so the promise expired at the end of the transfer window next season for some reason. So we have him for another year, and next season I'll have to sell him. So he'll be kept around for now. He's also homegrown. This is why I chose to get rid of Reguilon over him, because he's homegrown in England. So those kind of players are quite valuable, and I didn't want to get rid of him too abruptly. I also gave a few new contracts out to players. Basuma wanted a new one. He was quite upset that I didn't give him a new one, so I gave him a new 5 deal, 165 grand a week. It is quite excessive, but what happened was he wanted a new deal. I couldn't afford it, but he didn't accept that excuse, and the whole bloody squad started getting annoyed at me. So once I did have the money, I kind of had to offer him the deal to keep him happy. So Basuma signs a new deal. He probably deserves it anyway. He had a great last season, so hopefully he can continue in that vein this season. And I also gave a new deal to Davinson Sanchez just because his contract was expiring. And I was kind of pleased with his performances last season, so I decided to give him a new deal. And if I need to sell him, I will sell him. But I wasn't going to lose him for free. I didn't really want to sign another centre back, so I kept him around. He's going to be back up, probably third choice this season, behind Salisu and Eric Dyer. So Sanchez signs a new deal until 2027. So good on you, mate. So those are the transfers this season. Let me know what you thought of them down in the comments below. I think I did quite a good job considering it was very, very difficult to sell certain players. This is probably going to be our best 11 this season. I'm giving Dyer a chance. I mean, he was kind of unconvincing at times last season, but he was nowhere near as bad as Romero was. And also there's been an update recently to the game which hopefully will fix all this defensive bollocks that happens where players miss the ball in the air or something like that. So hopefully it'll mean that Eric Dyer puts in better performances. So yeah, I think we're in quite a good place this season. We're predicted to finish fourth in the league. The expectations are the same as last season, essentially. In terms of my actual aims, I probably want to just get around the same area, maybe challenge for the title a bit more so we're closer to Liverpool, but it'll be a very tough ask, but I feel like we're definitely in a good place. In terms of improvements, probably fall back again because Mendes hopefully can improve enough this season to justify it being our proper first choice left back, but Di Lorenzo, he's not the long-term solution. We definitely need to find a player to replace him at some point, but this season he'll be the right-back option. Also at centre-back, I want to replace Eric Dyer because even if he does better this season, there's definitely better players out there than Dyer. He's a bit slow, so I'd rather sign another centre-back. I did look at players like Bastoni, but Inter wanted over 100 million, so it was never going to happen. But other than the defence, I'd say that the squad is looking very, very good. We've got lots of solid options all across the pitch, and I've improved our depth in attacking areas with players like George, Gonzalez, and Richarlison's obviously always going to be a great backup at striker. There was a bit more room in the transfer budget, about 15 million, and we also have some room left on the wage budget. So I may look to sign one more player, maybe a loan, probably to play backup either to Son or Kulusevski. We've got George who can play in both positions, but it would be nice to have another player to cover for Son, who played every single Premier League game last season. So anyway, we've got the Community Shield today, and this will be the team. As you can see, this is our best 11, and hopefully the new boys can perform well. So come on Spurs, let's beat Liverpool and win another trophy. Okay, I don't usually come back for the fit team sheet thing, but this guy says that starting Milinkovic-Savic in that area of the pitch doesn't make sense. Yet starting him in his natural position doesn't make sense. Okay, Mr. Wi-Fi password for a name. I cannot say that name. Shingis, I don't know, but you can keep your stupid Wi-Fi password opinions to yourself, mate. I just thought I'd come back for that because I found that quite funny. These people, sometimes the social feed is just funny. Like they just say the most random bullshit. I mean, obviously, I'm not too bothered about the results of this game. I mean, it's only the Community Shield. It's not really that significant, but it's a trophy, and it gives us a chance to see how much we've actually improved since last season. I hope Costa can have a good debut. Yeah, he's got some big shoes to fill. Lloris, so despite being quite unconvincing at times last season, actually did quite well. He did, as I said last episode, get he was the top goalkeeper for clean sheets, so that's something. But hopefully Costa can fill his boots and do just as well. Let's highlight the game here with Liverpool on the ball. Here's Diogo Costa plays into Salah. Salisu, yes, first bit of defensive effort from him. Oh no, no, please. Okay, please, Salisu, I'm begging you. I do not want a Romero 2.0. Please, I am begging you. Please, that was his first defensive involvement there. He's already lost the ball. Free kick to Spurs, taken by Asensio, whipped in. Kane! Oh, what the pinball in the box, and we've scored. Right, first chance of the game for Spurs. I, I try and commentate, but every single time I do, there's some random stuff happens and the ball goes ping pong in the box. Kane heads it onto the post somehow, misses it, but then luckily Basuma's there to Rob Robertson, and tap it home. It's now 1-0 to Spurs. We've actually dominated this half, to be fair. We've been way better than Liverpool have been. First major transfer window. I mean, the season two transfer window is always the bigger one because that's where you properly rebuild the squad and get rid of all the deadwood players that the club you're managing in the past has failed to get rid of. Is Kane is in again? Oh, he's hit the post again as well. Kane should have scored that one, but Kane is doing very well in this game. He's clearly getting a lot of chances, so he just needs to take a few of them. Yeah, positive half from us. We're leading by quite some distance on XG, but we've only had 3 shots on target from 11, so we definitely need to be a bit more clinical in front of the goal. But I'm pleased so far with the performance. We have to expect a comeback from Liverpool here. I want them to turn up the pressure a little bit because that was very poor from them. They definitely will be doing better in the second half. It's just all about maintaining our focus and making sure that we see out this game. You just saw in the match momentum chart there, we actually are dominating the match entirely. So, what a weird game it's been. Maybe Liverpool are just a bit unprepared for this game. It's the 70th minute now, and well, not much has happened so far in the second half, but Liverpool are coming forward here through Salah. Tries to find Luis Diaz, Lee Lorenzo, that's very, very questionable. Salah's in, and Salah scores. Well, out of almost nothing, Liverpool have got themselves back into this game, and that is all because of Di Lorenzo losing his head. I don't know what he's doing there. Ugh, I am a bit annoyed, but it's only the Community Shield. I can't be too frustrated, but I don't know what he was doing heading it straight back into the path of Salah there. That was their first shot on target. So if we don't go on to win this, it will look like Liverpool deserve to win, but they really don't. We've been the better side here. And now I can't really take many players off because of these penalties that are coming up. I have to play our best penalty takers. Fucking hell. Why did this have to happen? Oh, well, actually, no, never mind. Yes. Oh, I thought Milinkovic-Savic had scored. I was getting ready to celebrate there, but alas. Right, let's have a look at the penalty takers. Richarlison's got 13 penalties. Gonzalez has got 15. Oh, yeah, he needs to come on. 13. And, oh, there's actually some quite decent penalty takers on the pitch. I mean, on the bench. So Kane's always going to stay on. Son has only got 9. Kulusevski's got 11. Senjo 14. So we're going to bring on Gonzalez for Son. Richarlison's got 13, so this might be a risk. I'm going to put Richarlison as a right back. Yeah, I mean, don't question it. I know what I'm doing. If that comes back to bite me in the arse, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I shouldn't do. No, it doesn't. And we're down to the penalty shootout. Yes, this is the first penalty shootout I think of the save so far, and I'm glad that I put on some decent players to take these penalties. Well, I put on Richarlison, but he's anxious, so I'm not going to let him take a penalty. It'll be Basuma instead of him. He'll take the last one. He's got 15 composure, so he should be okay. But yeah, come on, Spurs. I'm going to tell them that they're going to they practice the penalties. Yeah, I set penalty practice in training in case you didn't know before this game, just in case it went to penalties. And here we are. So let's go, Spurs. Let's win this penalty shootout and get the win we deserve. First penalty to be taken by Mo Salah, the goal scorer for Liverpool. Usually he scores from 12 yards, so I'm expecting him to score here. And he just about scores. Diogo Costa almost saved that Kane. This is our best penalty taker. Best penalty taker in the Premier League. Can he score? You bet he can. Confident penalty from Harry Kane. Doing what he does best, taking the penalty. Next up, Fabinho for Liverpool. It's currently 1-1 on penalties. Fabinho scores. I find this year that most penalties are scored, so expecting the vast majority of these penalties today to be scored, with just maybe one being the difference. Gonzalez here, new signing, and that was a good penalty from the new recruit. Excellent stuff from Gonzalez. It's now Curtis Jones for Liverpool. I've not seen him take a penalty before, but he probably will convert this. And yes, that was a confident penalty from Curtis Jones. And we are still level on the penalties, I think. Marco Asensio now. Another cool, calm, and collected penalty. As I said, most penalties this year are scored. It's not the same as last year. For Firmino, another good penalty. Jesus. We actually might lose on penalties here. I'll be so sad. They don't deserve to win at all, Liverpool. They're actually stealing this. Milinkovic Savic, another good penalty.
I've said another good penalty like 5 times or something like that. Harvey Elliott, come on, you're young, you're inexperienced. Please, mate, you missed the penalty. Come on. Oh, he did. He does. He hits the bar. Harvey Elliott hits the bar. And actually, I feel like if we score this, we may actually win the whole thing. He was assuming to take it. He scored so many good goals over the course of the series so far. And all he now has to do is score from 12 yards to give Spurs the Community Shield. Come on. Yes! Basuma scores, and Spurs get the win they deserve and win the Community Shield. Let's fucking go. Well, I wasn't really expecting to be lifting this trophy, to be honest. I thought Liverpool would probably win, but it's just great, and we now lift a trophy in consecutive episodes. I think Harry Kane's going to lift the trophy for us, and yeah, we win the Community Shield. I don't think Spurs have ever won this competition. At least if they have, it was many, many years ago. But yeah, another trophy win for Spurs. We just got to, we're just building up our trophies right now. I mean, the Community Shield doesn't really count for much, but it's just the trophy, as I said. And if you can get your season off to a good start by winning this, you put yourself in good stead to win. Have a successful season, I guess. So great stuff. We get the win we deserve. So yeah, as you can see, we definitely deserve to win now. Our XG was significantly higher. We had more of the ball, way more shots. So if they did win that, I would have been pissed. But we got the win in the end. Harvey Elliott's missed penalty was the difference. And yeah, I'm quite pleased. The fans praise manager Hugh Jass again, which so good. Oh yes, first time since 1962. So it's first time in 61 years that Spurs have won the Community Shield. So great stuff. So anyway, I'm probably going to come back for the Champions League will be scheduled to be in between some of these matches. So maybe I'll come for a Champions League game and a Premier League game. I'll work it out as I go along, basically. I'll definitely show you the draw in the next episode as well. We only have 2 fixtures in August. So United first game of the season, that's going to be tough, but hopefully with being at home we can win, and then Bournemouth away. So, we should hopefully get 6 points out of 6 there, and I'll return for a Premier League game and Champions League game. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in episode 12 for Champions League and a Premier League game. See you later.